Hey user world, I am back with another video. Today I want to go over my top tips and tricks on how to purchase luxury and of course not to regret purchasing luxury because you have already exercised all of these different steps, doing your due diligence and implement this into your DNA. And this is definitely an extension of my original video a couple of weeks ago where I talk about why I don't create wish lists. And of course, another video where I talk about why I don't do low buy or no buy in terms of going into 2025 or just in general. Hopefully some of these tips you already implement in your life and just pat yourself on the back. Good job. And maybe you'll pick up one or two new ideas that you can implement moving forward. So let's just get right into it. Number one, always use Google Lens. Yes, I am the bane of my friend's existence because I am that green bubble that shows up in group chats. And I am not going to apologize for using Android because the greatest thing about using Android is that you can access Google Lens right on your phone and just start snapping photos. Now I've heard, I can't confirm, yes, I'm holding an iPhone. This is actually a work phone. I don't really use it that much other than to make calls for work. However, Google Lens is extremely hard to access on iPhones or you don't even have access to that. But if you can use Google Lens, literally just take a picture of a bag or a picture online that you're seeing that you're interested in, because 8 times out of 10, you can actually find websites that you're not expecting for a cheaper price of any bag you want to purchase or just any item in general. And of course, if you're coming across a different bag that you've never seen before and you don't know the name of it, you can just go ahead and use Google Lens and it will pull up different prices from different websites. Obviously, do your due diligence on those websites to see if they're a legit place to buy from. But I can't tell you how many times I would find a bag that I like or any item, like I said, jewelry, bracelets, where I was like, oh, this is a good price, but no, Google Lens will tell you that there is probably a better price out there. Going hand in hand, always look for coupons. Google coupons. Yes, there's a lot of, useless coupons that are out there, but Google for coupons. If it's the first time buying from that particular vendor, sign up for their 10% off, 15% off welcome coupon code. So that way, if you are purchasing retail, or sometimes they stack on top of each other where their item is on sale, you search for coupons, it actually stacks, right? So just try everything out and see how you can save yourself some money. Do your research on Reddit as well, where you are purchasing from a website that you've never heard of. Chances are they're probably going to show up on Reddit and people are going to ask about that as well. And I know some people do post coupon codes as well on Reddit. So it's a rabbit hole down Reddit, but you can find so much information on there that you would have never thought to find that information. Always use your credit card to purchase from these companies because if anything were to happen, 9 times out of 10, your credit card will cover you. And I have utilized this a few times already where I submitted a claim and they refunded me because, I'm a loyal Chase customer and Visa. And they basically know that I don't just submit random claims because I use the purchase protection with my credit card correctly and I don't abuse it. The next point I want to make is do your due diligence, right? Using Google Lens, these are all steps that I take when making a purchase is do your research on the next bag that you want to purchase, whether it's looking at reviews on YouTube. I highly recommend looking at multiple reviews on YouTube if you can find them and look at the long form videos because, a TikTok, which who knows what's going to happen with that. And when it comes to YouTube shorts or reels, these are all like 30-second reviews or, minute long reviews. It is just not enough for you to make an informed decision, whether, like I said, if it's a crock pot or if it's like a new, juice blender, whatever. You want to look at the long form videos where when you're purchasing a high dollar item, it is very important before you pull that trigger. You also want to look at return policies, right? When it comes to the US, return policies can be really lax, but you still don't want to have to go through the hassle of purchasing it, trying to stuff it back in the box, whether it's handbags or jewelry, trying to stuff it back in a box, piece it together, drop it off at the store and ship it back and then pray that they will accept the return. So something to think about is looking at the return policy after you do your research. Other ways that I shop really smart is use Instagram and follow all of the personal shoppers you can find. And of course, if you do show up to, department stores, ask for your sales associate's IG. This is a new way of merchandising and selling for all of these different sales associates. It's kind of weird. Like, I've never thought about this, and this shows how old I am, but Instagram, I didn't think that sales associates who work for Nordstrom's or Saks would ever create their own entire community where they can sell items through Instagram, and yet they still work for a big corporation. Know your pricing. Just because you follow these personal shoppers and or sales associates, just, go through their stories. Yes, it's, if you're sitting on a toilet or if you're sitting on the bus, just scroll through their stories. Because that way it gives you a really good idea of what pricing can be. Because I actually learned a lot of this from my friend Mandy, where she literally, I was like, how many sales associates and personal shoppers accounts on Instagram do you follow? Because this is insane. You keep sending me new ones like every other week. But she knows the process of all of these different seasonal items. It goes on sale. Like Dior recently did a 40% off. I didn't purchase anything from them, but it was nice to look at and know Dior does go on discount, right? Basically, it goes on sale, usually 20 to 30% off. And then there is a second markdown, usually around the 40 to 50% off, but you do have to wait a couple weeks before the second markdown happens. And sometimes there is a third markdown where it is completely final sale. By that time, by the second markdown and the final sale, third markdown with these department stores, it's usually pretty picked over. So you do have to act quick. And most of these sales associates, you do have to trust them, even if you've never met them. Things go quick so fast that you have to literally DM them and send them your, billing address, your credit card number, and then of course your shipping address, right? So you do have to place a little bit of trust, which is why I said in the first place, always use a credit card so that way you're protected yourself, because you are sending your personal financial information over the web on Instagram, right? So based on my experience and of course Mandy's experience, I always ask her, hey, is this going to go on third markdown, you think? She's like, yes, go ahead and wait. But brands that I've seen on sale at department stores is Fendi, Dior, Chloe, Louboutins. Oh my God, there's so many Louboutins. Valentino, Saint Laurent, Givenchy, Versace, Jimmy Choo, Burberry, and Bottega. They all go on sale. Seasonal items, seasonal colors especially, but they do go on sale. So if you are looking to purchase an item that you're not caring about the latest trends, the latest releases, just wait and see what sales you can find via these personal shoppers and or sales associates. And I got a lot of comments were calling me delusional. I'm just like, all right, lady, that yes, these sales associates will post items from their store. It's not going to be available online. Don't ask me why they do that and not just post everything online, but that's just how it works. So these are the major brands, luxury brands that do go on sale. Now, kind of just pivoting a little bit here, when it comes to Hermes, Louis Vuitton, Goyard, or brands like Four Lepage, these are the brands that if you ever go to Europe, I would definitely purchase there because the pricing is just so much better. So that's why when I go to Europe and if you ever see me come back with a haul, it's never going to be from brands like Valentino, Saint Laurent, Prada, or whatnot, because these are all brands that will go on sale here in the United States at a pretty good discount, because paying retail in Europe and then getting the 12% VAT refund back, it is still not worth it to me. Another shopping trick is call outlets. If you have an SA, obviously that's always better. There's the Mulberry outlet, there is the Saint Laurent outlet. There are sales associates that you can grab their phone number and they can text you all the latest releases that came into the outlet, which is usually, 20 to 40% discount. Sometimes you'll find really amazing pieces for 70% off, but you do want to build that relationship. But if you don't have a sales associate because you've never visited that outlet before, sometimes you do get lucky and just call the number, Google the number of the outlet of that, Saint Laurent store and whatnot. And you can just ask anybody who picks up the phone saying, hey, I'm looking for, the Lulu bag or the camera bag. And they will actually say, yes, we do. And then you can just make the payment right there and get yourself a good deal purchasing from the outlet. And a little piece of news, apparently the Saint Laurent outlet in Chicago at the Rosemont location has shut down, which makes me extremely sad because they haven't been there for a number of years. So that made me sad. Another pro tip is looking at the taxes. Yes, this is very specific for all of my viewers in the United States, is buying in person versus online, right? So just look at the taxes, ask the sales associates that you're working with at the outlets or just when you're purchasing online, where if you purchase, let me just use as an example for Illinois, because I've lived in Chicago and I still have my Chicago place. If you purchase in person, it's usually 10.25%. Now, if you were to ship it to Illinois and Chicago in general, for whatever reason, majority of the brands are going to, or vendors and websites, the tax becomes 6.25%. So there's a difference between the two if you purchase in person versus online. Now here in Nashville, where I'm at currently, regardless of where you're at, pretty much the sales tax is going to be 9.25%, regardless if you purchase online and or if you purchase in store in person. So it's just really different nuances when it comes to taxes. It's just sometimes, like, I know because I lived overseas and I came to the States, just to give you a little personal story here, it's just like my mind is just blown. Like, why do you do this? If you buy in Europe, if you buy over in Asia, the price tag that you see is the price tag that you pay. It doesn't matter what location you are. It doesn't matter what city you are in. It is just that the tax is built in, and usually it's standardized for the entire country. Going into the next step, I feel like I'm going through the 7 stages of grieving. Identify the item you want to purchase. Do your research and due diligence on the item. Then look at your taxes and how to purchase it so that you save the most amount of money. And then we go into the actual purchase. It's just like I'm creating the 7 steps of purchasing items, and you see where I'm going with this, right? And by the way, if you are new here, hit that like and subscribe button for me and drop a comment down below. Let me know you're a new subscriber. I would love to welcome you to my channel. And for those of you who are returning, you know what to do. Hopefully this is entertaining to you. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what steps you already implement. At the end of this video, I got a couple more that I think will be a really good one. And for everybody here, whether you're new or a longtime subscriber of my channel, you know I love talking about tips and tricks on how to save money, because for at least in my family and most Asian cultures, we don't really like to brag about the nice things we have. We like to brag about how much money we were able to save in order to purchase those nice things. Like that's like a little trophy for us. I know it's ridiculous, but I love it. The next step is, yes, you've identified it, you made the purchase, you found a good deal because you're following my tricks there. You now are waiting for the shipment and it shows up on your doorstep. You're ready to rip everything open because you're so excited. I'm going to pause you there, because what you want to do, especially when it comes to a high dollar item, is that you want to grab a friend. If you don't have a camera stand, if you have a camera stand, yes, that's going to be much easier. Film your unboxing. That is so important because you never know what is going to happen, because 1, it could be tampered by the delivery person, or 2, whoever's packing the item, or if there's any nicks or, little damages to your item, you want video proof. So that if there's any issues, you can go back to the vendor, whoever you bought it from. Usually they're pretty lenient about it. They trust you, saying, hey, this item is missing. You order 2 items, only 1 showed up. And the other item, it's like, where the hell is it, right? Or 2, it's completely crushed, right? You want to film the unboxing. And if the vendor won't work with you, then you go straight to your credit card company, which is why I said always use your credit card for that purchase protections. And having that video proof, an undisputable video proof, is always going to help your case and expedite you getting your money back. So definitely film your unboxing. Moving on to the last few steps, where you are done with your item, or perhaps you're looking at your closet and wanted to do some decluttering. I know that is a trend right now, especially at the beginning of the year. We're starting fresh. Let's declutter. Let's start, new year, new you kind of thing, right? If you haven't worn the bag in over a year, 2 years, whatever that threshold you want to set for yourself, get rid of the bag. I am so good at getting rid of stuff. Yes, there are still bags that I have in my collection where I haven't gotten rid of. Most of them are more for sentimental reasons. I did let go. I am proud of myself. I did let go of my first Louis Vuitton bag I ever purchased from the boutique. It was very sentimental. It was a lot of money, big girl money that I decided to purchase. I haven't used that bag in years. So I decided to let that go to one of you guys, actually. So that was a very proud moment for me. But take a look at your closet. If you haven't worn it in a year or 2 years, like I said, get rid of it, sell it. You won't miss it. You won't regret it. And if you ever want to purchase it again, it's always an option. It might not be the same price, but it's always an option because the time value of money. Let's just say it's $1,000 or even $500. That $500 can be allocated towards a new purchase that you will enjoy, or you want to just put it in a savings account. Well, actually, don't put it in a bank savings account. Put it in a high yield savings account or invest it, right? I'm talking about smaller dollar items, but if you've got a $5,000 bag, you probably won't get $5,000 for it, but let's just say you get $3,000 of it. $3,000 can grow in ways that you don't expect, right? Whether it's in the checking account, savings account, or purchasing another bag. So it's money sitting on your closet. Get rid of it. Looking for different ways of getting rid of it. Obviously, there's Poshmark, there's the RealReal, there's Fashionphile, etc., etc. If you're looking for private consigners, those are pretty straightforward methods. I've done videos on it. I will link them down below for you where I talk about consigners that I do like and don't like. But if you are, again, we live in the world of Instagram where you can buy from Instagram people and you can also sell with Instagram people. Be careful. Be very cautious of the consigners that you want to work with. I have gone through multiple experiences where I think this is a very established consigner on Instagram. I send my items using my own money to them. They didn't sell it for over a year and a half, and I kept following up. And saying, hey, it hasn't sold in like a year. I want my item back, and I can still see it on their website. And I was like, I want my item back because I can sell it faster than they can. And they would not respond. They don't respond to emails. They don't respond to DMs. They don't respond to text. And that is the most frustrating thing you can ever experience if they don't respond to you saying, hey, I want my item back. They're just keeping it in their inventory. And then once, after, I want to say a year and a half, they finally responded when I started threatening them that I am going to start posting about their consignment shop, that they are keeping my items per my request. I wanted it back, right? And then when they actually finally sent it back after me 6 months to 8 months of chasing after them, saying I literally started blowing them up. I was irate. I started texting them on a daily basis. I emailed them. I blew them up. I was about to get to the point where I'm going to join their lives. Again, this is just the irate me. Like, what kind of business practice are you running? Like, is this your business model to ignore your consigners? So be very careful of that. But to finish that story up, they sent my item back to me damaged. At that point, it wasn't a high dollar item to me, at least it wasn't worth the trouble and hassle and headache. It's a lesson learned for me. It wasn't like horrible damage, but it was basically a Speedy that I had, Epi leather one. It was pristine condition. There were no creases or anything, but they decided to flatten, like most Speedies, they flattened it and then made more creases on the sides of it, like on the sides where, how Speedies flatten. That pissed me off so much because what the condition I sent it to you is not the same condition as you sent it back to me, which is completely unacceptable. But after almost 2 years of chasing after them, it wasn't like it was a hole or a tear in the bag itself, and then we're going to have big problems. However, when it comes to, just a crease, it's not the worst thing in the world. So I was just like, let's be done with this. I am done with this consigner, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. And when you do find a trustworthy consigner, or if you want to deal with the bigger companies, when you're sending it to the shop or the company, go ahead and film your boxing as well. So that way you have video proof that you actually sent the item. Take a note of the weight and then drop it off. Don't drop it off at like a place, where they don't give you a receipt. You want them to weigh it as well as get a receipt so that you have no arguments of sending off an item. So that was a very long and lengthy blabby video where I talk about it's just like random thoughts. I hope this was helpful because I feel like this is something I had spent a lot of time, money, and sweat and anxiety honestly to go through all of this, and my learning experience through that, again, for the past 10, 15 years. And I hope you don't have to go through all of that heartaches and regret your purchases, and have a really good experience when purchasing luxury items, because these things are supposed to bring you joy, and having to go through the buy, sell, and disputes and claims and all of that is just going to ruin that experience and that item for you. And I would love for you to not go through that and learn from my experience, mistakes, and some things are out of my control as well, but just be cautious, do everything you can so that it's a good experience all around. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less in retail. I'll see you all next time.